like clock. I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Boruto episode 159 preview. Alright guys, this episode is going to be probably the episode that everything gets started. We understand that it was already like a fake plot that was going on. They went on a mission and everything. But now we get to the real plot. I think this episode is where everything's going to be kicked off. Now before I get into what I think is going to happen, I do want to read the spoilers to you guys. And of course the spoilers pretty much outlines a lot of the stuff that we got to talk about in this video. But also the preview also added some more stuff that I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to find super duper interesting. Now the title of the next episode is going to be Hashirama Cells. Now getting into the relevant part of the paragraph, it says, then the president of the Medicare manufacturing company Victor appears. He's being accompanied by his own search party as they've been looking for this laboratory researcher as well, and so they restrain the laboratory researcher and take him away immediately. The mission for Boruto and his comrades has ended in failure. Meanwhile, an unusual phenomenon occurs within Mitsuki's body. Now obviously the first thing that catches everybody's attention is the fact that Victor actually took the researcher. It's going to be very interesting to see how he actually takes the researcher. I do believe that it is actually possible for Victor to take the researcher but do it in a nice way, but I'm pretty sure because we're dealing with an anime, they're going to make Victor seem super sketchy, and because of that, everybody in Team 7, they're going to take a step back and look at Victor as possibly an enemy. And Team 7 is already on edge. If you guys don't remember, in the last episode they kept talking about how the whole company was being extremely secretive. Now if this is the situation and Victor knows about the researcher and now Victor takes the researcher and doesn't necessarily tell Team 7 anything, they're going to be extremely skeptical about what exactly is going on. Now notably, the title of the next episode is going to be Hashirama Cells. It's going to be very interesting to figure out if Konohama and everybody else pick up the fact that, hey, this person or this researcher actually has Hashirama cells, or possibly even know or realize the wood style in the actual cave. If that is the case, they will definitely be on edge and realize that something is very fishy in the village hidden in the valley. Now I did assume that the researcher was actually implanted with Hashirama cells in the review, but in the preview of the next episode we did see the researcher and Victor in the same laboratory together, so we can possibly understand what is going on with the researcher and why he did go crazy. Again, I really believe that he was implanted with Hashirama cells and his body didn't necessarily react to it the way that they intended it to react, and because of that, Victor does want to take him back for further testing. We're probably going to get to see the truth of that in the next episode. But another thing that we do have to talk about in the spoilers is the fact that it said, meanwhile an unusual phenomenon occurs within Mitsuki's body. Now a couple of weeks ago when I did talk about these spoilers for the first time, I did note that it was very weird that Mitsuki would be feeling a little bit weird at this time. Again, the Kata organization, they're fascinated with scientific technology and also synthetic human beings. For Mitsuki to be sick at this time out of all the other times is super weird. This might actually be the doing of Victor and the people from the Kata organization, or some sort of outsiders of the Kata organization. If you guys did look at the preview, we seen a picture of this lady right here. She looks super weird. Now I don't necessarily want to make any assumptions, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do right here. She can possibly be an outsider of the Kata organization, or possibly even an insider. Boruto for Life on Twitter, he basically said that that is Deepa's smile. Now if you guys did see the last episode, the beginning of the last episode, we understand that Deepa right now is possibly in the village hidden in the valley. We didn't know exactly where he was jumping into, but because it's a village hidden in the valley and he was jumping down possibly into a village, it's very possible that he's right there where Team 7 is. And Deepa could have easily used the transformation technique to of course turn into this lady right here. My initial predictions is that this lady can possibly be a doctor or a nurse. I strongly believe that they're possibly going to take Mitsuki to like a hospital, and this is going to be the person that's going to be looking after Mitsuki. Again, because it's the Kata organization, it's going to be super weird to have a nurse basically poking and prodding Mitsuki. This could all be employed to try to replicate the type of synthetic human being that Mitsuki is. Some people were actually telling me that it's possible that Mitsuki could actually be cracking. If you guys do recall, back in the arc when Mitsuki quote unquote went rogue, there were some other synthetic human beings, and those synthetic human beings were not as quite perfected as Mitsuki is, and because of that, those synthetic human beings started to crack under pressure, no pun intended. When they were actually losing a lot of chakra, they started to crack, and when they were super tired, they were cracking as well. People are saying that that could possibly be the process that Mitsuki himself is going through. I personally disagree. It's a reason why they wanted to test out Mitsuki, and it's because he's just that good of a synthetic human being. Some people were also saying that it's possible that Mitsuki actually had a reaction to the Hashirama cells, kind of alluding to the fact that Mitsuki might actually be allergic to Hashirama cells. I strongly disagree with that possibility. possibility Orochimaru in his mind made Mitsuki to be like the perfect kid. If Mitsuki did have that problem, Orochimaru would have probably scrapped the whole Mitsuki idea. I want you guys to understand Orochimaru has a lot of good experiments that he just does not put out. They're just not perfect to him. But in conclusion, what I expect to see in the next episode, first things first, we're going to start off with the whole researcher going crazy. I think Victor is definitely going to take the researcher and it's going to look extremely suspicious, and Team 7 is going to understand that something is not really right. I think afterwards we're probably going to get to see some sort of hint to why Mitsuki actually got sick. I think possibly the second half of the episode, possibly even more than that, probably even 75% of the episode is probably going to be surrounded around Mitsuki actually getting sick and them taking him to the hospital. I do want to know how they're going to implement some other Kata organization members. They could possibly give us some more screen time with Deep Milim, because we did see him jump into a valley, most likely the village hidden in the valley, and also they could possibly show us what Victor is planning to do with the researcher and what he has in store for the researcher as well. But let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comment section below, and give me your opinions about some of the stuff that I did say in this episode. Why do you guys think Mitsuki actually got sick? Do you guys think that we're going to get any further information about the Kata organization, possibly deeper in the village hidden in the valleys, and also what Victor is planning to do with the researcher? But it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.